All right, this is part 2 of your day 7 and day 8 notes. Now we're moving on from solving absolute value equations to solving absolute value inequalities. They're very similar to absolute value equations. You want to make sure your inequality, your absolute value sign is isolated, and then you're going to write 2 inequalities. So let's just go over problem number 3 here. We're going to solve the inequality, the absolute value inequality, and then we're going to represent our answer in set notation, interval notation, and then we're also going to show the graph of the solution set. So let's look at number 3. So is it isolated? Meaning, is there anything on the left side of it, that absolute value sign? Is there anything over there with it? No. So it is isolated. Yes, it is isolated. So I'm going to write 2 inequalities. Okay. The first one is going to be 3x minus 12 is less than or equal to 6. Okay. The other one, so I'll keep it divided over here, is going to be 3x minus 12. Now I'm going to switch the sign to a greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to, and I'm going to change the 6 to a negative 6. All right, so pretty similar to the equations, isn't it? So now you're going to solve them both. 3x is less than or equal to 18. Okay. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. And you get x is less than or equal to 6. All right, now let's do the one in green. Add 12. Add 12. Negative 3x is greater than or equal to 6. Now we're going to divide by 3. And you get x is greater than, x is greater than or equal to positive 2. All right. Now, we're going to do things a little out of the order. We're going to learn how to write our answer in set notation, interval notation. But first, I think it's easier if we graph it, okay? So when you're showing your answer as a graph, it prepares you to show your answer in different notations as well, I think. So that's where we're doing it first. Let's look at the numbers that we're dealing with there. 0, let's put that in the middle. But our numbers from our answers, we had a 6. So let's count 1, 2, 3, there's 4, 5, 6, it's enough. Now our x is less than or equal to 6. Here's your 6 right here. Okay? So you would have a solid circle at 6 with an arrow going to the left. Okay? However, there's 2 parts to this. There's also x is greater than or equal to 2. So you're going to have a solid circle at 2, greater than or equal to, so you would be going to the right. And check it out, they overlap, don't they? So this is, when they're going together like this, we say it's an and, okay? For compound inequalities, your choices are and your other choice is or. This is what an and looks like. An or, you don't have to write this down, but an or would look like this, where the arrows are going in opposite directions. So you'll see that in your practice problems, but in this case, this answer is an and we can tell that by the graph. Okay? They're a little easier to graph, and especially, but actually they're easier to graph in set notation. I'm sorry, they're easier to represent in set notation and interval notation than the ors. But when you guys get to the ors, we'll show you how to do that too. So don't worry if I'm talking too fast. You can raise your hand and ask us for help, or you guys can turn the volume down. Just kidding. But yeah, make sure that you're asking questions when they come up. So far we've solved and graphed. Hopefully you understand how to do that. So your answer would be represented, just to clean it up a little bit. You don't have to erase that, but on your paper you just neat it up. like that. Okay, so that's what your answer should look like. I'm going to erase this because I don't have much space. So our answer was x is less than or equal to 6 and x is greater than or equal to 2. Let's look at interval notation first. Okay, intervals like domain and range, we learned about that. Those were intervals. So we list them from least to greatest, right? So we're going to do the same thing when we're showing our answer in interval notation. Where's the lowest x value that it could possibly be? It could be at 2, correct? All right, so we have 2 here. Oops. We're going to have 2 here, and it could include that number. So it's getting a bracket. The highest number it could be is 6. And it can include that number, so it gets a bracket. So real easy, your answer in interval notation is 2 comma 6. All right? If they're open circles, remember that these circles, then they would get parentheses. Since they're both closed circles, they get brackets. So that's interval notation. So we've seen that we're going backwards here. We've done the graph. We've done the answer in interval notation. Now we're going to do set notation. Set notation, just in case you see it, you'll know what it means. So don't labor too much over this. I don't want you guys to get too worried about it. You will have to know how to show it on your test, but it's a small portion of your grade. Okay. So I'd rather you guys know how to be able to solve them and show them in on a graph and an interval notation, and then set notation will come after you guys learn those. Okay. So here's the last one. Set notation. You write these squiggly lines here, and we're going to say x such that. Okay, that's kind of new. That's why I don't think people like this. This just means x such that, and then we're going to write our answer. Okay, it's an and we're going to represent it as a compound inequality. So x was between 2 and 6, wasn't it? So that's how I'm showing my answer. I don't know. Maybe you guys do like that representation. I'll find out. But that's how you write your answer in set notation. So how would you read that? You would say x such that 2 is less than or equal to x and less than or equal to 6. When you guys do some more, you'll get, instead of ands, you'll have ors. I'll show you how to do those. You'll learn about unions and all that fun stuff. But let's stop right there. You guys are going to do 1 and 2 and 4 and 5. And then we'll show you how to do this application problem. And I guess that's it for these notes. So thank you for watching. Thank you for working hard. Keep up the good work. And get all A's, okay? Keep up the good work. Thanks.